What's going on, boys? It's Trippin, and I recently just came back from holiday. So hello everyone that is on the channel, and from the title you can already guess that we're going to be diving deep into one of the most debated hot topics of CS2. What is the best resolution? You have 16:9 native, 4:3 stretched, and then 16:10. I'm going to break down the pros and cons of each one and hear what the community and the pros have to say to help choose what's best for you guys. Right, so as a man that has tried basically all of these, we're going to start off with 16:9 native, 1920 by 1080. It matches your monitor's default, offers the widest FOV and the overall visibility, like the text and the UI is going to look really clean with it. And you have the FOV increase, so if you ever see people in your games that can't see enemies at the corner of their screen, it's probably because they're only playing 4:3, and at 4:3 the FOV is not as wide as 16:9, so you can't really see them wider people. Then you have 4:3, my personal favorite, 1280 by 960, 1024 by 768. You can either have it stretch or black bars. For me, it makes player models wider, aiming a bit easier. However, the FOV is reduced, so you can't really see people at the edge of your screen. Then you have 16:10, which is kind of in between 16:9 and 4:3, but it's still, the FOV is still a bit narrower than native, but it offers good FOV and kind of a large target appearance, so it's not too bad. But let's go break them down. So we have 16:9, basically your native resolution. We've already talked about the wide FOV, the clean visuals. However, there is also something else, and that is the models move slower. The game feels a lot slower. It's easier to place your shots and get kills. However, there's only a couple cons as well that comes with this. The view models are slimmer, and it'll be a higher GPU load. It can affect your FPS and input lag on some weaker PCs. So if you do have a weaker PC, probably don't play native. Maybe go for stretched. Speaking about stretched, here are the pros and cons for stretched. Stretch mode widens player view models, makes them fat and chubby, so you can spot them better. They're just fat. You can hit the head better. There's less clutter. It focuses you on the center of the screen basically, so you're just focusing on the crosshair because you can see everything else. And also better performance. You get really good performance on 4:3. However, there are a couple cons with this as well. Narrow FOV, we've already spoke about this, but if someone's at the edge of your screen, you can't really see them, and I mean that's kind of it, right? Distorted visuals, it can feel off to some players. Some players don't like the quickness that 4:3 offers, and the game kind of mushes together, but I really enjoy it, I'm not gonna lie. And then you also have the habit of 4:3. Now I play 4:3 in other games. Like if I were to play Valorant, I'll play it in 4:3, and this is just because on CS I play 4:3, and mainly on other competitive shooters like Apex Legends I will play 4:3 on. So it's kind of like a habit, I'm not gonna lie. And we have 16:10, which is a hybrid between both, wider than 4:3, but it still gives some benefits. The gameplay will be slower, so the models are kind of easier to hit. However, the player models are going to be a bit less chunky, but a bit less skinny. They're going to be like right in between, so I mean it's not that bad. It's used by pros like Elite, so it's not too bad. Cons, still narrower than native, and it's less common. No one really gives guides and stuff for 16:10. Oh boys, I'm gonna hit you with some cold hard facts, right? 70 to 75% of CS2 pros stick to 4:3, typically 1280 by 960. Top names using 4:3 stretched are Simple, Nico, Manizi, Coldzera, and Twists. A similar share of pros like Zywoo, Elite use 16:9 or 16:10. So I definitely would say the new age of Counter-Strike is pushing more towards 16:10. So if you kind of want to be ahead of the curve, 16:10 might be the best for you. Let's put in stats besides, how do you pick your own? because you know it works for the pros, but it might not work for you guys. So gameplay style, I think this is the best thing to do. You know, if you're if you oh my god, if you've always struggled with headshots, try 4x3 stretch for, you know, bigger heads. I mean, you know, stuff like that. If you prefer to be situational awareness, you know, if you prefer to read the map, stick with 16x9 native. And if you want to balance, 16x10 is a perfect sweet spot. Number 3, if you need performance, you know, performance needs. If you have a lower end PC, just 4x3. A high end rig, 16x9 won't hurt as much, you know. It's little stuff like this, but if you really want to know if it's for you, just try it. You know, you never know unless you try it. Like, I would have never tried 4x3 if my PC wasn't bad, and it just kind of stuck. So it's little things like that that could definitely help you. So what's the verdict? I mean, it's quite simple. Choose 16x9 if you want max visibility and crisp, nice visuals. And especially if you're a YouTuber, you can just tab out and it's perfect. But go 4x3 if you want bigger targets, less distractions, and it's the most common pro pick. So I mean, I don't see why not to use it, right? And then 16x10 if you just want the in-between, because it's really good. Remember, experiment for a few games, you know, track your performance. Stick with what you feel is best for you. Don't go use 4x3 if I've just told you to, because I'm not you. So anyway, drop your config, drop your resolution down in the description, and yeah, it'll be quite cool to see what res you guys are using. Hey, if you like the video, I'll see you boys in the next one. Peace.